Oh, it's sunny. Yes.
What an absolutely beautiful morning it is today, waking up in the Cotswolds. It's mornings like these I count myself very lucky. Last night I parked up in a little lay-by near Moreton-on-Marsh. Preloaded yesterday of oilseed from Zills just off the A303. And last night when I parked in here there was a kebab van just there. So I don't know if that's there every night or whether it was just last night, but it seemed to be there for a long time. I went to bed at 10:30 and it was still there then. Believe what a nice day it is today. And as you can tell from my walk around checks, the weather has been quite bad all week. I'm really hoping that this weather is in for the rest of August, but I doubt it, not with the weather we've been having lately for harvest. But, right, I've done my daily checks, I've filled out my daily checks books, and I'm only about 19 minutes away from the place where I'm tipping. Never tipped there before, so I don't know what to expect. The load of oilseed that I am carrying has been harvested this year and is going into a grain store instead of the farmer keeping it in his own grain store. Farmers generally do this when they haven't got space for all of their crops. The oilseed will eventually be transported to a factory where the oil will be extracted, and what is left over will be used in animal feed as a high protein ingredient. On their website it says that they open from 7 till 5, but looking at the ones coming out, I reckon they must open a little bit earlier over harvest. But it looks like over there, it looks quite foggy. There's like a mist over there, so I reckon it is going to be quite a hot day today. I've made myself a cup of tea while I'm waiting, and it looks like I'm next in the queue. Well, I'm guessing that's the weighbridge there anyway, but I've never been here before, so I don't know. When the truck moves and I pull up into his spot, I realise that I'm not next on the weighbridge. There are actually 3 in front of me. A sign on the wall over there saying driver's toilet and shower block. That's quite good, isn't it? Shame I wasn't here last night. Once I'm on the weighbridge, I can hand in my grain passport and my ticket, and hopefully they can explain to me what I've got to do here. Once I'm on the weighbridge, they sample the grain and then point me in the direction where I need to tip. There's already a truck on the pit tipping the same product in front of me, and I just wait where I'm told to wait until he's finished. As they've opened the tailboard and then tipped it up, I know that this is going to be a really quick tip and will only take a few minutes to tip. Pits like these are great because you're tipped in 5 minutes and you can go. But when you're waiting in a queue behind, they still have to wait for the pit to empty. So I'm now on the pit, but I have to wait until the pit has cleared before I can tip my own. So if there was nobody in front of you, it would be great and you'd be in and out in no time. But when there's a big queue, you still have to wait that normal time of tipping in a pit. So they're kind of good and bad in a way. Just shame I wasn't first. I need to wait in the truck for the lad who is directing the lorries to open my tailboard and give me the signal to tip the body up. Once the pit is empty, this will only take me a couple of minutes. Oilseed tends to come out of the trailer really well, but I also use my onboard weigher so that I know when I'm empty. When it's all out, the lad signals for me to pull forwards just a little bit so that when he does up my tailboard, he's not standing over the grid. I don't even need to get out, it's brilliant. That's that, he signalled me. He signalled me that I can go, so it's back onto the out bridge. I've now weighed out, got my ticket. I've had to get a weight and then go to a different part to load up again. I'm not really sure what it is I'm loading. I've been given the product name. It's like a blend to go into animal feed. I have to wait a little while to load, but when the chap comes out, he warns me that it's quite tight to get into the bay. And I'll have to drive right up to the door, then reverse back until he says to stop. He shows me how to use a self-loading system, which only takes around 15 to 20 minutes, and then he levels out the product that's on the trailer so that I can get my sheet on before I leave. This is so that we can try and prevent the product from being pushed over the top by the sheet onto the floor. Then he gives me some directions back to the weighbridge, as it is quite amazing here. All in all, it's been quite a good experience in here, and from the moment I arrive to the moment I leave, takes just over an hour and a half. I've weighed out, I've got all my paperwork. I couldn't show you much of what was in there just because of how everything was set up, but it was a self-loading system, basically similar to what I've shown you before, but not quite the same. It was a very, very powdery, dusty brown product that only just fit on the trailer. So I don't know what I actually came out with. 28 tonnes. I'm heading down to the other side of Salisbury. There are two ways I can go, but I think I'm going to go for the easiest option on the truck. There's only 2 minutes in it either way I go, but the way I'm going to go, it's quicker road, so in a truck I should do it a bit quicker, hopefully. You never know. It should take me around 3 hours. Let's go. And I still can't get over how much of a beautiful day it is after all the bad weather that we've had so far during harvest. Someone along the road flags me down and I'm thinking, oh no, what have I done?
Your ear's been burning. I'll follow you on YouTube. 10 minutes ago I was talking about you.
Oh, right. I've never been in here before, so no.
That's brilliant. Nice to see you anyway.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you. Cheers. I seem to be having quite a lot of people stopping me and saying things like this, which is really lovely, as I thought that all my videos would just get lost on the internet. And I would like to say a massive thank you to you all for liking, commenting and subscribing and bringing me up to 30k subscribers. So to get to Salisbury, I take the A3400 straight onto the A44 and hit a little bit of traffic, where I pick up the A34 just above Oxford. By this point, I'm looking like I need a bit of fuel, so I pull into Cheveley Services, which is on the junction where the A34 and the M4 cross. I get myself a drink as it's quite hot today and I want to stay hydrated. At this point, I'm about halfway to my destination. But I've got a lot to do today and there's no time to stop, so it's back onto the A34 to head south. And around 25 miles from the services, I pick up the A303, heading west. And then at Andover, I take the A343 down to Salisbury. This route takes me under a 13-foot bridge, but I know that I am well under that, unlike the panic that I had last week with the unmarked bridge into the farm. I make my way around the bottom side of Salisbury before picking up the A354, which will take you to Blandford, but I don't need to go that far. It's not long before I'm at the mill, and I pull straight in and make my way to the weighbridge. There is somebody already on the weighbridge and I'm hoping that he's weighing out and not weighing in. The good news is that he pulls off as soon as I pull up behind him, but the bad news is that he is weighing in and he does need to tip before me. It is a tailboard tip in here, so it shouldn't take too long. I get my paperwork together and go and see the weighbridge operator, and he will let me know what I need to do next. Got my paperwork and I will go and see them. He says that as soon as the other lorry's out, I can back into the shed. I take my time reversing into the bay as there is not a lot of room in here and I need to get the front and the back just right. The chap who works here also comes to help me as an extra pair of eyes and tells me when to stop when I'm far enough back. As you can see, I didn't have much room in front of me to swing the cab round as I came back. And it must be my lucky day as the chap opens the tailboard for me in here as well. He also watches the trailer and directs me as I tip up. The roof is high enough in here to tip right up, so that is not a problem. But the issue that I may have is that when I pull forwards, I have to turn at the same time, as there is not enough room to go straight forwards. This means that there is a potential that I will catch my tailboard on the concrete barrier on the other side, and this is what they are mainly watching for. It's also handy if I'm a little bit patient and get as much as I possibly can in the bay, as this means there is less mess and less for them to have to push up into the bay. Then I get my brush out to sweep out. Nowhere near as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it would be covering the whole floor, but actually it's not going to take me long to sweep out. And this is the product. It's like a brown dust made from oilseed. Once everything's swept out safe and secure, I pull back round onto the weighbridge so that I can get weighed out, get my ticket and work out where I'm going for my next job. I will just give a quick ring to the office to make sure that I am still going to the same place.
So it's in for tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Okie dokie.
Lovely.
All right.
Thanks, Gemma.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Once that's confirmed, I fill out my paperwork and ring the farmer.
Hello?
Hello, it's Gemma from Wayne's Transport. I'm coming to collect some milling wheat from you.
Hello, yes. How far away are you? Just to warn you, that lane is tight.
Right, okay.
There is one particularly nasty corner with a stone wall on your right. You do need to get right over to get round it. It will actually do your block quite a bit of good. That'll be about one of the worst bits of crap you've ever driven down. So you can put that on your film and I'll look at it on Friday night.
All right.
I'll see you. Bye.
All right, cheers, bye. Oh, dear. This sounds awful. Here we go. Well, I've never actually met this farmer before, but he seems to know me and it sounds like he watches my videos. He also sounds like a bit of a character. I make my way out of the mill and back up the A354, back towards Salisbury. I'm not very far away from the farm and it should only take me about 45 minutes to get there. I take the road out through Wilton and I always hate this junction, but today it's actually not been too bad. I seem to have hit it just right. I head on out through the narrow windy roads and then turn right into another narrow windy road. Oh, a random toilet. How strange. Then I turn into the lane to the farm and the farmer has already warned me that it's going to be quite narrow, so I am prepared. Although so far it's looking pretty good to me. I haven't got any branches or hedges scratching my paintwork, so that is a bonus. But then I get to the corner that he was talking about. I move over to my near side as far as I possibly can and use every inch of space that I can possibly use. There is also a stone step going into the house on the near side, so I keep checking to make sure that I'm not going to scrape my bumper on it. I've also put the air right up to try and avoid scraping the bank. I keep edging forward slowly, checking each time I move. But it's just not going to go round, so I shunt back to try and get my trailer over a bit. Luckily, I've come far enough forwards to be able to do that. And then I can have another attempt of getting round the corner. And this time I do it, but it is only just. Thank goodness for that. And from what I can see, it is the only bad part of the lane, as the rest doesn't seem too bad to me. Although it is quite a long way up, and I am glad when I reach the grain store. As I pull up through, the farmer signals to me to let me know where I need to park.
Bloody star on the screen then.
I don't know about that.
I had to hold on to that and get it.
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
If I don't lose count, you want about 9 on the front, 9 on the back, and then whatever you want.
Yeah, I'll get up and have a little check as well.
If you leave it down till I got the
Yeah, that's all right.
baby.
Yeah, all right. This load is going up to Manchester, so while the farmer starts loading me, I have a little look on the map to see which is the best way to go. Whilst I was uploading, I spoke to another chap that was delivering there, and he said that the farmer had previously asked the council if he could put an extra track into the farm to avoid the lorries having to go round that corner. But the council refused, even though he was willing to pay for it. The farmer's given me his grain passport, which I need to tip up in Manchester. I filled it all out, and it's more important with this one that everything is absolutely correct. This is milling wheat that is going into the food chain. And it's back out the way I came because this is the only entrance into the farm, which is great. I'm not really looking forward to it too much. Actually, let me take a little shot because I was at the wrong angle. It just seems absolutely madness to me that the council are happy for lorries to try to get round this corner, when although trucks are getting round, it's really not suitable. It's not the first time I've heard about farmers being refused stuff like this from the council, and if you watch Clarkson's Farm, you see it a lot on there too. I could understand if what we were doing was not essential, but getting food grown by farmers out of farms, on lorries and into factories to be made into what we buy in the supermarket To me, it's essential, and that is why everyone in these sectors had to work through COVID. So anyway, I go back towards Salisbury and pick up the A36. I follow this all the way through up to Warminster and then take the A350, which will get me up onto the M4. There aren't many decent routes across now, as there are so many weight limits and congestion charges, so you end up going a longer way round and burning more diesel to get where you need to be. I hit a bit of traffic near Bristol as I'm trying to get on the M5 North. By this point I need a break, so I pop into Michael Woods. And I'm looking for a space as close to services as I possibly can, and I don't actually do too bad. While I'm here, I'm going to have a shower, so I get all my shower stuff together as I won't have any opportunity to have one later. Time for a shower. Might actually put my tea on before I go. I decide to put my tea in the microwave so it's ready for when I come back, as I still have quite a long way to go, and I'm already feeling quite hungry. It will also stop me buying a little snack in the services to tide me over until I get to my destination. The shower's not too bad in here either, and all in all it's turning out to be quite a good break. So tonight we have, can't even get it open, a spaghetti carbonara. It's all coming off in bits. It's not good, is it? Does look alright, to be fair. It smells quite nice. I am quite hungry, so I'm quite glad of this. It's not something I would normally go for, but actually it tasted really good and wasn't too watery like some microwave meals can be. Then it's back on the motorway, northbound, heading for Manchester. This trip should take me just under 3 hours. I hit a bit of slow traffic where the M5 meets the M6, but that is quite normal here. And to be honest, because of the time of the day, I was expecting it to be a lot worse. I leave the M6 at junction 19 and head round the bottom end of Manchester using the M56 and the M60. We can park in a queue here outside the mill, and today I have been really lucky. It's really quiet up here tonight and I'm second in the queue. Woo. Got space. Sometimes I've come up here and it has been so busy and I've had to squeeze up here, which it's not the easiest place to squeeze into, but I'm happy with that. Excellent. So what is the time? Let's get myself on break. 8:15, so I can go till 5:15. I have had a really good day in terms of getting where I need to get to and getting the job done. So I guess that's one good thing that we can take from today. I've done a 14-hour day today. I could go up to 15 hours. Some kids just come along and said, "Are you Trucker Jammer? We watch you on YouTube." Oh. The next day I got tipped nice and early, and it turned out to be a lovely day that day as well.